that it's gonna be on there, and then you can discuss it.
Right.
But that just gets into problems if people are discussing, bring up an issue and then people try to discuss it that time.
You just end up with too much banter that goes nowhere,
And
you
that's-
can't do anything.
Yeah, we've had issues with, you know, where we'd spend 3 hours in here doing discussion for a, 30-minute council meeting. You know, we take 2 or 3 items on the council and, we're here for 3 hours because we just sit and visit about it and everybody had their say on it. It was counterproductive if we want to do it a little more stringent and follow the guidelines of it. Because the council works together to help me, to tell me what they want. Now I can go to them and say, these are the things that we need to look at. And they can look at them if they, hopefully.
And I agree with what you're saying, that's very good, but I'd like to extend on that though. They come to us
Yes. Now, if
for
we,
what they, and I agree with what you're saying, that not, an item's not on the agenda, and I've been in, I was the
but
public
we
works
get a lot of good
director.
items on the, the things that,
Mhm.
at the end where the public has got things they would like to have brought up. So we'll bring it forward so that we can get it on an agenda
So
and start looking at it.
then maybe we need to, when you're setting the agenda up, after the bills and before we get into this stuff, maybe we need to have a public comment for those items on the agenda. And then at the end, public comment for the items not on the agenda. So that if they bring an issue up, that we can then look at, okay, say that's something that we wanna put that on the next agenda. So that way, you don't get everybody coming up in one session at one time, commenting on a variety of things. Because a lot of the issues, in my honest opinion, I would like to hear the public comment on stuff that I'm voting on. Just to make sure that I would like to know.
I'm hoping that the public will call you on these items or whatever they think needs to be addressed so that we can.
Well, that would be nice too. Since it
You
changed
get
my
plenty of phone
mind.
calls.
Because
And the
the,
public, your constituents can always call you, and you guys can bring it up, and the town council too. Once again, the town council acts as a quorum. So once again, in this case, that's why I mentioned the two. It's gonna take 3 of you to vote to add stuff to the town council meeting. It takes 3 of you to do stuff. It takes 3 votes, well, it could be 4. At least 3 to add stuff to the agenda, to approve things that,
You have to have a quorum to do
yep,
everything.
one person alone cannot add something to the agenda. And then it is a division of responsibility. Usually the mayor is in charge of setting the agenda, but the town council, if you guys vote, you can add stuff to the agenda also. So the mayor can't just stop you from adding stuff to the agenda. But also on the other hand, you can't dictate how the agenda looks. That makes sense.
but I will consider looking at, things that are on the agenda for public comment, before public comment, or before the agenda starts.
I just was kind of curious, because, I mean, we do work, I feel, as the council, we do represent the town. That's basically our job, and you're right, they should call, but we also know that theoretically, this whole building should be completely packed every council meeting too, so I mean, for people that wanna know what's going on and stuff like that. The other thing is there a way that we can get the meetings and stuff posted on the Facebook page?
That is not up to me.
Well, I'm asking. I'm not, I was looking at you, I'm sorry. I was looking at you, but I guess I'm asking the question on the town on a Facebook page or something, because I know there's a lot of people that they don't see where the meetings are. I mean,
Our Facebook page, or the page that we have, is not very good.
That is.
Fromberg Facebook, the town of Fromberg Facebook page?
Yeah.
See, well, that is true. See, this is a fantastic issue. So say the town council says, we want the town council meetings posted on the Facebook page. And the mayor says, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying you said
Yeah.
no, but
No.
say you're like, it's just gonna, no, we don't have the resources. And then who wins? In this case, the town council would have a couple options. You could pass an ordinance that say, this has to be done. You probably want an ordinance, not a resolution. Or you could just talk to the mayor, and the mayor can work something out between you guys informally. But, once again, if it's just not informally discussed, to do something formally, it'd have to be a resolution between all three to actually acquire something, or it has to be done.
And the other thing too, you can get real sticky in the world of social media with any kind of government entity. Say if we had all admin on it, we could write on it. You have one too many whiskeys and you fire off a bad
Oh,
comment.
no, I agree
No,
there,
no.
I just was talking about,
Yeah,
because,
I'm
a lot
not-
of people don't, they don't go to, I mean, I don't go to the senior center, I don't go to the post office.
Right.
And very rarely do I come down to City Hall, so if there's something I'm posting on there, before, I never knew about it.
Sure.
And
That's why I'm just saying, it's some way of getting it out there other than just the three places.
I know that we
guess.
tried a couple of times to get a Facebook page going, but it's been,
Not too tough.
it is, it's
it
a
was
tough
in
thing to do.
2022, there is a Fromberg Facebook page. Chances are you will have to contact Facebook, tell them who you are, and try to get control of it. I do believe Joliet posts that they're going to have a meeting, and I know Kristen, I checked her last post. There's going to be a meeting, Bridger Town Hall, 7 p.m. this night. Stop by, feel free to pick up a packet. We have one if you'd like to look at it ahead of time. And that's simply it, nothing more. Same with the gal in Joliet. And it's nothing but that, and I do know that the gal from Joliet, when she posts on her Facebook page, it is strictly done out of the office. It is not done
From that IP.
off of a cell phone or anything else. It's done off of a government entity because you're running as a government entity.
And see, that's a great example also of, this sounds like informal discussions with the mayor, and then it's the mayor's job to take those ideas and whether he has the resources to do it, because somebody's gonna have to do it every time, and develop that, and so it's the mayor's job to decide if he wants to do it or not.
And that's, for
And
that, I know
doesn't
that
have to be
has been,
decided now.
that has been a problem
Now.
because the cost. I don't know, every time you talk to somebody about building a website, they want lots of money.
Well, Facebook is free.
I don't know,
But do
I
we
don't know.
have a website to do
No,
that?
Facebook is free.
Yeah, just put it together and-
I
You
don't
know,
know.
the town been in existence for how long, and how long has things been posted on the door about meetings? Well, no,
Over
it's,
100 years.
no, it's the second Monday of the month, isn't it?
No, well, it is now, we just changed it.
Okay. So, I mean, I've seen that in the post office, here to here.
But your special meeting a couple weeks ago was posted 2 days ahead of time. And if you're not specifically going to the post office and looking out every day, those people don't have the opportunity to participate.
Well, how did folks know we had a meeting? This place was full.
What
Well,
I'm
maybe
saying though
Other
is there,
people posted online.
There's a
Yeah.
way maybe we can do it. Once you get sworn in, then maybe we can look at doing something with Facebook, and you can build us a Facebook account, or we could sit down and discuss how to do
I
that.
think it'd be better to start off fresh instead of even trying to go through the orchestration of going through Facebook themselves, just do the official page, whatever. We delegate off one person, you come in, use the computer here, make the post.
I know that if we go off of fromberg.gov, it's gonna cost us money.
No, this is
No.
a soul different.
no,
But if it's
you
not- I
just
don't know anything
join,
about.
you have to have an email address and you join Facebook. Harley's joined Facebook for her own personal. You would just enter the city email address, do it off the city computer,
I mean, the only thing I would throw out there
and it would have to be her that did it, but I mean, it's a 2-minute town hall has Fromberg meeting tonight, or, you know.
It's up to the mayor if he wants to do it or
Everybody
not.
else has control.
Well, that's
Mayor-
something I'll have to look at, and I'll have to talk with Harley to.
But take the
see
time
how
to
you-
look at Bridger's Facebook. She is very,
Yep.
She's very good at it.
there, well, here's the benefits. If you watch what Kristen does, she posts when the free food's going to be there, that the people can come get. She posts, if there's something that's kind of important going on in town, stuff like that, but nothing, you know, it's strictly for posting that water line break. I know in Joliet, they use it, it comes off the official site, that's it, over, done with, nothing. And I think you can limit if you get comments or not comments, you can
Yeah,
limit
yeah,
it
you
to.
can
Turn out,
You can
turn
turn
off.
off.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's just strictly, this is, they come from the town site. And you could, by doing this, there is an advantage to this, because I do know that they have this. You can make somebody an admin. So what you could do is make Marcus an admin. So he's out, he gets a call, we have water lines go down at 6 AM, you're not gonna be in the office. Marcus has a government phone because he's awarded that. It's not coming off his personal phone. And he types in there, he goes on that Facebook page, the water line is down, will be down for 3 hours. And it all comes off of it. It's not coming off of somebody's personal. When you go into
His
coming
personal
off of
account.
somebody's personal account and you're doing government business, it doesn't look good.
No.
I just wanted to get
Okay,
the meetings
I'll
out
discuss
there.
this.
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah.
You know,
I
But
just
it's
wanted to
just-
get the extra meetings out there so the public would be well informed. I mean,
so
that's,
maybe get a little more people show up, yeah.
I wasn't,
Yeah, that'd be a good
I
idea.
didn't mean to stir up hornets' nests.
Okay.
We're gonna need a bigger room.
That happens. Well, that would be fantastic. More people involved in civic duty, that'd be great.
More headaches.
No, it's not.
It's good. It's
I don't
good.
know, they'll come to you with their ideas, and then you present them to the council and myself, and we decide what we think is good for the town.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking and they're talking to them, they'll convince you one way or the other, whether it's good or not good.
Depends how much money they got.
For the record, that was a joke also.
Yes, yes, that was it.
Is there a possibility of the council people getting emails through where we're running? And here's the reason why. I don't want emails coming to my personal account, but I would prefer sometimes to answer in email, so somebody doesn't say, well, she said,
No,
when
that's a
I
fantastic
didn't
point.
say, and I have documentation for that.
And I would definitely recommend either the city get some emails for council members, or council members get their own special email. The reason for that is when a council member, any discussion from a council member to their constituents is a public record. And so that's gonna be open to any type of FOIA requests. So, I mean, whatever you're saying through email, through text message to your constituents, in your capacity as a council, is a public record that people can look at. And so even when you leave, those emails should be saved by the city and some sort of file, usually just a computer file where you download the emails involved. And that is a public record that's gonna be saved by the city. And so council members will come and go, but the emails chains between you and each other, you and the city, you and your constituents, that's all public record.
That's why I would feel better if
Yeah.
it came off of that deal.
Yeah, and it shouldn't
It's-
come from your personal, that's.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like
no.
this, yeah, I mean, even with
That's
a,
why you don't have my email.
even with like a
But it's fine, I can just give you a
nonprofit
call.
You give me a call.
whatever,
Yeah.
that goes through a separate deal. It does
Yep.
not go on my deal.
No, that's right.
So let's bring it up put it on the agenda so that we can discuss talking about each one of you guys getting an email account.
Easy enough to build a Gmail or you can reach out.
Or if you don't use Gmail, you don't, not Gmail, if you don't use email, you don't have to use
Yeah,
email.
it's just an optional.
Yeah.
But if you use email, you probably should get your own separate
Yeah.
one.
That way you don't have your own private.
The other two things, sorry, does anybody else jump in? I'm gonna just shoot from my hip. Conflict of interest is an important one for town council members. By law, there's kind of a tiered system with conflicts of interest. If you have, it's very clear, if you have a pecuniary interest in the outcome of any type of legislation that you're passing, you gotta recuse yourself. So if you, I don't know, an easy one is if you're a realtor, nobody's a realtor, are they? If so, I would pick a different example. If you were a realtor and you wanted to sell property and then you put an application to change the zoning to more business so you can get a higher return from that sale, obviously you have to recuse yourself. That's an easy example, but it's a lot more than that. If you're getting a pecuniary interest out of it, if you have too close of ties to the situation, then you have to recuse yourself. And that's the pecuniary interest, that's an easy one. The second tiered is if you just have too close of ties to the situation. So for example, I don't know, we don't have an airport here, that's an easy one. Yeah, if we had an airport and you were a pilot and you flew every day and you had a lease with the airport or with the city, or you had some sort of agreement with the city that you were then voting on an ordinance that would affect that lease, so you would have an outcome, not money-wise necessarily, but you would have an outcome that would directly relate to you only, then you would have to recuse yourself. Everybody always asks the example, but everything we do here affects me. Yes, if it affects everybody equally, you don't have to recuse yourself, but if it affects you specifically, or if you're gonna get an income out of it, or even if you're gonna lose income out of it, either one, you would have to recuse yourself, and then you just sit out. You don't talk about it, you don't try to sway any votes, you just sit out the vote. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, just let me know. There really is a statute, and there's a whole bunch of specific examples, so if you let me know, give me the specifics, I can just show you yes or no.
Shouldn't, if something comes up like that, and I'm just familiar with a school system that, she is, this gal that was the clerk there was very good, and she would write something along the lines of, nepotism or something like, and it was on the agenda. You knew exactly who was prior to anything. It was, the public was let know. It wasn't like, oh, they might do the right thing or they might not do the right thing. The person was listed as
Yeah.
this person, da-da-da-da-da. Should we try to,
You don't have to get that specific, 'cause
Okay.
then you might get in trouble with confidentiality. Depends
Okay.
on what the conflict is.
okay,
But if
No,
somebody
but-
has a direct conflict, I'm not putting down anybody, but if somebody has a direct conflict and they're like, no, I'm still gonna vote on this, there's actions that can be taken to force them out and say, no, you have a conflict.
no,
Oh.
just to give you an example, one guy
Yeah.
was like, had a plowing contract,
Sure.
and because he was on the board,
Mhm.
they would list him, and he had to recuse himself
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep.
But it was always listed out.
Yeah,
or-
that's a great example.
Or if another party was going to be hired, and the guy was, the gal on the board was the mother of this party, they had to, it was listed on the document, so.
Or like the fire,
Mhm.
that's a good example, like if there's, a
Yeah,
agreement
if you're doing anything that can affect my fire department, I will recuse myself.
Yeah,
that's a good example.
Yeah, that, and another thing that we would,
And a lot of them are
examples
just
for us here
straightforward,
would be
obvious.
like leasing this 40 acres up here. If one of you guys were to lease it, or one of your family members was to lease it, then it's something we'd have to look at,
Yeah, and most of them are pretty
Yeah.
which maybe we should
obvious.
get that advertised so we can get it, see if somebody will
do we want to,
lease that 40 acres for pasture.
that,
That's-
I'm only
That's a
thinking,
great question that the city council, or town council should discuss. but not
at
here
this
since it's
meeting.
not.
This is what
started.
happens every time.
Whether it's least
Right
or how
off
much
the
it's
train.
least.
It should
Yeah,
be on,
exactly. It's not on
it
the
should be
agenda.
on the agenda.
But it definitely should be on the agenda, but that is a good discussion.
My personal feeling, I would never do that on Facebook. Talk to somebody about something coming up on the board. and talk
No,
about-
no, that's not.
Because it's gonna, if you disagree, let's say, or if I was to disagree with that person, then it might have a conflict. And it'd be,
I'm
it'd
not,
be a situation of one person against the other. He said this, no, he said this. No, he didn't.
Well, yeah, but see, that's why we do it here,
That's right. Yeah.
in a
That's why I don't
council
wanna-
meeting that,
I wouldn't-
you know, I hope that not everybody's gonna agree all the time, somebody's
Right.
gonna have a different opinion, and if you got a different opinion, then we need to hear
Yeah,
it.
that's just my opinion.
But,
Just to avoid a confrontation with somebody online.
yeah,
Yeah, we shouldn't have too much conflict. But the conflict of interest would be, you know, like we're gonna get something out of it, and then you'll just recuse yourself. The only other thing I wrote down was quorum, we kind of talked about it. It's for, you know, committee meetings, committees, but it's also for other things. For example, if three of you talk to each other and just say, you know, hey, you wanna meet for lunch and talk about the city agenda? Don't do that. Like, three of you wanna talk about city business? Don't do that. Just cause you're creating a quorum, without having it prior notice. And the reason for prior notice is important, because the population, the citizens have a right, to watch everything that happens, to have a right to watch all the discussions that are taking place, with a quorum present. Yeah.
and the same goes with sitting at the table. You don't have the right to whisper to each other,
Yeah, that's right.
correct? Because
Yeah, there's a quorum in the
Creates-
room, yeah.
you need to speak loud enough that they know what's going on.
Yeah, and then nowadays, I don't anticipate it, but texting back and forth.
Texting, yes,
That's
that's
another
a,
thing that people get in trouble with, because town
never would
council
have thought
member.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
oh, yeah,
I've been to restaurants and watched people sit at the same table and not say a word to each other, but they'll text each other back and forth.
Yeah, but yeah,
Sitting at the same table, I mean,
yeah, all discussions need to be had out loud, because the citizens have a right to see what the, what you guys
I
are
made it
doing.
years ago. I didn't have a phone. Didn't have a phone in my hand. Hey, I made it.
Oh.
Oh,
Any
okay.
other questions for me?
I think so.
Okay, so we're getting the agenda put together. I don't know. What do we have? If you guys can't because you're not sworn in yet.
No.
Okay.
Well, and then it's not on this agenda, and I
So we can't
apologize.
be talking about it, right?
True, but I was thinking it definitely needs public comment time, and I apologize that I didn't.
Oh.
That one's on me, because she sent that to me and said, look good, and I forgot. Any agenda needs public comment time. Always.
Excuse me, thank you, because a lot of this gets missed in special meetings.
Even
It's
special
not
meetings.
addressed, it should be
Yeah.
on all.
Yep, special meetings, working sessions, everything needs a public comment time. So before we adjourn today, we definitely need to have a public comment time. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. So we'll just add that to the, can we add that to this agenda?
It needs to be, yes, that's, once again, state statute, every agenda has to have a public comment period.
Okay.
Well, not every agenda, I apologize, every meeting needs a public comment period.
Every meeting?
Yes, every town meeting,
If we have an agenda, we have a public comment.
yeah, that's the easiest to remember.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions? Concerns?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, well, we're gonna turn the time over to the public for a public comment. As far as our council member training, you guys have anything you would like to come to the pulpit here and comment?
You don't have to get up.
Anybody?
Terry Hall. I just wanna like, after the meeting's over, and a lot of us leave, and there's 2 or 3 council members still sitting here talking. Is that legal? After the meeting's over? They're talking about things that went on during the meeting?
See, this is great. I can't, nobody can comment on your public comment. Usually a public comment time is just to talk about things that you have noticed and issues that you have. I can definitely answer your question though afterwards.
Okay.
So I guess I have a question on that. Why can't we answer the questions?
Because it's not what he brought
Oh,
up.
because it wasn't on the
It's
agenda.
not on the agenda.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I
you
got you.
can't talk.
I got you.
negation. Nope, you're good.
That's
Okay.
where
My
we.
name is
Hold on,
Joseph
one
Sankey,
second.
and I'm gonna express the same thing I expressed at the last council meeting, when we were told blatantly at the first part of the meeting that there would be no public comment until after the agenda was done. Now, everybody stands up here and takes an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. My First Amendment was infringed upon that night, I believe. You know, we should have a right to comment on anything that's in this, that goes on in this room. We pay the gosh damn things that go on here. Part of us pay for it. We should have that freedom of speech. No questions asked.
If you remember.
Nope, nope.
No, we can't
I
discuss it.
I can't answer that?
Can't answer that.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda.
I'm saying, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I addressed that last meeting.
Well, does anybody have any other questions for me?
Marge Taylor.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on one second.
Yes, Marty.
Why isn't there any on the agenda, and that's been mostly in the last 2 years, letters read, public, communications read. That's never been on the agenda since you've been mayor. And I feel, I've never heard a letter read. Sorry.
Okay, if we have nothing else, then
I'd like to say something. And it shouldn't be very long.
does it have to do with the
Elton
agenda?
Kirtley.
With the training?
That's okay. Okay, public comment time is
Okay.
on the agenda or anything else?
It was brought up at one meeting and it was not recorded properly. The reason the propane tanks shouldn't be in town is because it's against the county grill policy, and this town has signed on to it. Okay. Now, I noticed that one of them's been removed, but there's still another one been down there for years, and that happened because the mayor and some other people had illegal meetings, brought in an illegal trailer, and all kinds of things. That the whole thing was so illegal, it's crazy, okay? And it was crammed down our throats. That propane tank's still down there. Now, is it gonna be according to growth policy and gonna be buried? Or are you gonna keep playing politics with this? You know, I mean, right is right. And you know, there's a reason why those rules are on the books. It's a matter of safety. Now, is safety more important in this town than politics? Or is politics, and who knows, some backhanded deals going on, is that more important than the safety for this town? Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments?
I move to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Tom.
Only two of you can vote, so. Short and sweet on this one, I got too much left to do.
Take care.